type.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by BlackRifleCoffee.com. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, this is Halloween.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween.
Yeah, James, it's your hit song. This is Halloween. Burning up the charts.
Everybody's just loving it.
Dancing in the streets to it.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween.
Yeah, you just blew out the
You're welcome.
headphones.
People love when we sing, don't they?
They do it. They do.
Our harmonies.
I saw a car flipped over upside down on fire with people singing, "This is Halloween, this is Halloween."
There hasn't been a train through here in 80 years. Right? But I heard the train. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Is that what's going to happen all episode?
Yeah.
Are we going to get a lot of that?
Lots of. Did you hear that? It was a train. What? There hasn't been a train through here
in 80 years.
in 80 years.
Don't go up to that house.
Yeah.
I wouldn't if I were you.
I got candy from the old lady down the street. She's been dead for 20 years. That kind of stuff.
But the Twix were fresh?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we talk about what you're wearing?
No.
No?
Just normal life.
Yeah. No, you look like a young Beyonce.
Yes, I did a Beyonce twins announcement.
What is that?
It's very Dia de los Muertos inspired. I'm very cultural appropriation today.
I was just going to say.
Nobody
I
gets
got two words
shit
for you. Cultural appropriation.
Nobody gets shit for that, I have to say.
For what?
The Day of the Dead stuff everywhere.
Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah, but we're pissed about the caravan yet.
What's what are we supposed to be pissed off about the Dia de los Muertos?
Well, that's just the complete cultural appropriation of the Mexican culture around Halloween. It's completely different. We do not celebrate it the same way here, except for we'll take their fun little skeletons and the roses, but then we will everything else we don't like.
Vámonos.
Yeah. I've done a Dia de los Muertos in Mexico before. It's fucking fun as shit.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it's a full-on party all night long.
Where is it?
It's everywhere.
Just
but I was
in
Coyoacán, Mexico City.
Okay.
And it's just like gnarly. It's not like, oh, let's trick or treat for a little bit. It's like kids, parents, everything, partying, parades in the street.
Wow.
Everywhere all night long, because it's the idea of like your loved ones are coming back for that one night.
Right.
So you like set out stuff for them and you literally just like party with your dead relatives all night.
Oh,
and it's fucking rad.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
It's cool, except for nobody really does that. They just kind of take all the other parts.
Yeah, well, that's what America does.
And I'm
you take
I'm here
the
for
best parts of every culture,
yes,
and then kind of make it generic. Yeah,
absolutely,
like with Italian food, Mexican food, all that stuff. Like,
sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
why not? I'm with that.
Yeah,
I get down with that because let's face it, the thing that you just described sounds rad. If it wasn't in Mexico,
sure, well, you know? Right.
I don't want to be dirty as shit and then eat street meat at the end of the night. Like, don't want to do it. They do that in L.A., you know?
They do I'm sure
street
they do.
Meat.
I'm sure they do, yeah.
And there's like a little thing in, West Hollywood has that huge Halloween thing, but let's
Did
face
you
it.
ever get down with club dogs? Do you know what those are?
What's a club dog? The bacon wrap dogs?
When you come outside the club in LA and that smell of like,
boom.
I shouldn't do it, but
Onions,
I'm going to do it.
Bacon hits right in the face. It is, oof. We've all fallen victim to that.
To the club dog.
Yeah, and then you fall victim to the porcelain the next day.
No, it is the gift that just keeps on. It keeps your club night going for
it does not.
a week.
No. Yeah. If
you are partying with that club dog.
Yeah, you might as well turn on a Vici in your toilet. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. Those club dogs will get you. Get you every time. Anyway. The worst is when I see a girl eating it. With a guy, with a dude, you're like, of course we're going to do it. Or some other dude's going to do it. And you're like, all right, cool. The worst is when you see like a hot girl get a club dog. Then you're like, oh God, I didn't want to picture that girl shitting her brains out for 13 hours the next day.
And there's no cute way to eat it.
No.
So it's just
everywhere.
A ridiculous thing.
And the onions are so pungent.
Sure.
Really, really stays in your clothes that night.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you?
I was going to go as Shaun White, dressed up as Simple Jack. But there was some backlash from that on the interwebs, so I decided against it.
And I was going to be Megyn Kelly in blackface.
Yeah.
Or Blasey Ford. I've got the suit, and then I was just going to go a layered blonde, which I have.
Uh-huh.
And then you, I think, have Blasey Ford edition, don't you?
Yeah.
Glasses?
Yeah. I was definitely going to do all of that.
Sure.
Mixed with, I was thinking about going as Megyn Kelly in blackface too later on. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how I feel. You know,
sure.
Not really sure what's going to pop off later. I'm kind of a last minute guy, so
right.
Either Simple Jack or Megyn Kelly in blackface because I want to put the blonde wig on. I want to put the whole Megyn.
Yeah.
I want to look like Megyn Kelly, but then obviously blackface because she said it was okay. So
yeah, well, back in her day, which makes you be like, how the fuck old are you? It's one of those like she's frozen, so you're like she could be 80, and just be like, back in my day, it wasn't a problem. I mean, that's literally what she said. So what is your day?
People did it all the time, and it up until maybe 10 years. I remember maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, fraternities. Sororities. I mean, shit, they were doing Cinco de Mayo parties.
Yeah.
Painting themselves up brown and stuff, doing that type of shit. But let's face it, you still have white chicks. I'll always default to that. You have an entire movie called White Chicks.
Yeah.
Where black people painted themselves white and then did that whole thing. Let's not just gloss over that. Like, that was a whole thing that a community accepted of like, that happened. Nobody gave two fucks about that.
And it won an Oscar, I think, too, right?
Or whatever the opposite of Oscar.
What's the opposite of an Oscar?
Yeah.
Oscar.
No, it's what do they call them? The Razzies? That's it.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that they did a whole movie that was financed by a studio with a $30 million budget for white chicks.
Yeah.
Some black dudes to paint themselves white and do that whole shit.
God, they're terrifying.
Yeah. And remember those posters?
Gives me nightmares.
Go pull up the poster and imagine if you flipped it these days. By the way, personally, I want to say I don't have a problem with it. I just wish it was even across the board, where it was just like, great. If Homeboy wants to dress up like Simple Jack, Shaun White, he's dressing up not as a retarded person, but an actor from a movie and a character in another movie about a fake movie. Like, there's 3 fake movies to get through to say, hey, you really fucking hurt our feelings and all that shit. Yeah. Come on, man. No one can have fun anymore. Shaun White, if you're listening, and I'm sure he is.
Oh, avid.
Sure he is.
Avid listener.
I'm on your side, Sean. Fuck those people.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Sure.
I really don't. Like, I thought the costume was awesome. Whoever did the makeup,
it was
right. It was spot on, too.
I think that's sweet.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, if you think it might be a little offensive,
you're fine. As
do
you wear your cultural appropriation Rihanna headband or whatever that is now.
But they don't get offended, I guess.
Who?
Mexicans.
I guess not.
Do you ever hear them?
No. They don't.
Those people?
Yeah.
This is getting weird. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. No.
I don't want to do it anymore.
They don't.
I'm going to back up the truck.
Yeah. You're going to put that in reverse.
Yeah.
This is
like
Halloween.
Cinco
this
de
is
Mayo.
Halloween.
Like, how fucked up is us, the way that we celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
You know, I look at it this way.
Do you know what I mean? I like it, but I'm just saying.
But I look at it this way. It's the same way we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Where people get fucked up and they're like, Irish are all drunk people. And it's just, blah.
Yeah. Red hair and just like getting wasted off Guinness.
Yeah. And look, if I did when we end up doing the 23andMe, the cotton swab and all that shit, I'm sure it'll come back as Irish. Not one part of me, not one, would make fun of Mexicans, blacks, whites, fucking Elizabeth Warrens going out and celebrating St. Patrick's Day and getting super fucked up. I could care less. Care less. It's about a holiday of a man driving snakes out of a town or whatever it is. Like same with Cinco de Mayo. Like who gives a shit?
It's not even their real independent. It's stupid,
no.
but
who gives
anyway.
a shit?
Yeah,
I don't care about any of it. Celebrate however you want. Get fucked up every day. Look, there's some girls that I know who get fucked up for Secretary's Day.
Really?
I'm a secretary.
Sure.
This is my day.
My big party day is Mother's Day.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm wasted.
Yeah.
Minute 1.
Madre's Day.
If my eyes are open on Mother's Day, I'm wasted.
Yeah. Dia de la Madre. That's what they call it. The Day of the Mothers in Spain. I have no idea.
Yeah.
My Spanish is shit. But these sponsors aren't. We're going to get to it early, Jables, because we usually go for like 30. Like a hard 30 before. Just rambling.
Just
Nonsense.
Just bullshit.
Yeah.
The people don't deserve
real
that.
Hullabaloo. They goddamn right they don't. We give them a show for free that is top notch and 100% USDA approved every time, James. So let's start with blackriflecoffee.com. A little BRCC for that ass. Black Rifle Coffee is a premium roast to order coffee. It gets made right in the warehouse and then bagged up and shipped out right to you. They got K-Cups. They got bags. They got a ton of new bags for Halloween and Christmas and all that shit. Like,
I saw those. Those are sweet.
Dope. They just do it right at blackriflecoffee.com. Friend of the show, Brendan Schaub, has got the Big Brown blend, by the way. That thing fucking sold out on the first batch.
Dude.
Yeah.
I want some.
I know.
How do I get my hands on some? It's always sold out.
I'm glad you asked. It's not.
Okay.
Because now they're really, they stock the shit out of it. Because it was, look, you never know with celebrities, like how well shit's going to do and stuff like that. And the reason why I bring this up now is because they don't have K-Cup versions of that. They have bags. So when I go to Matt's house or Evan's house and like Jared's, they are only, I'm going to hold this up to camera because if you're watching on YouTube or iTunes, these bags, this is all they make coffee out of.
They grind it themselves.
Yes.
They
we're the white trash people who use K-Cups, but let's face it, we don't have the time.
Yeah, but it's for everyone. It's coffee for everyone.
It is. And that's the thing. It's across the board. Yes.
Yeah.
So with the Big Brown, it is in bags. It is not K-Cups. I haven't had it yet. I had some at Matt's house because he's got a professional.
Like the whole pour over
dude,
thing.
the whole thing. But it is one of those things where you wake up and it like I have to tell his wife like, hey, can you go and make me coffee? Like which is shitty because I don't know how to do that. Their system is so intricate. It is where you take the beans,
you wake her up.
It's exactly what I feel like. Hey, wake up.
Hey, can your wife make me some coffee or what?
Yeah. Because it's you take the beans, you ground them, and then you put them. It's like a pour over through a thing, and it's a whole fucking thing, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Me, I'm 2 seconds. I'm like an animal in there where I just pulling a lever like I'm going into work in a coal miner factory, just
clocking in,
and then out the door. And it's like, all right, cool. But they're like taking their time. And I will say this, it is a better cup of coffee when you do that.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah. So they sell those pour over kits on blackriflecoffee.com. So you can go there and physically buy them there. I just don't know how to use them. Sure. And use the one-time promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off at blackriflecoffee.com. Next up, we've got StrikeForceEnergy.com.
Boom, 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 shabloinkers. Sometimes you want me to do it. Sometimes you don't. I don't know.
I always want you to do it.
I don't know.
Strikeforce Energy's got 4 amazing flavors: lemon, orange, orange, and Make America Grape Again. Grape's my favorite. I'm going to have it tonight. We're going trick-or-treating through the neighborhood with all the adults. I'm having Strikeforce and vodka tonight in my cup. They've got those those almost like Yeti mugs there at Strikeforce Energy.
Nice.
Yes, if you go to strikeforceenergy.com, look at their Yeti mugs. Those things keep shit cold all night long. I'm a big fan of those. So I'll be having a lot of Strikeforce tonight out screaming, "This is Halloween. This is Halloween." And enjoying the shit out of my life. Big fan of that because I need some energy tonight. And I need to find it. I need to dig down deep tonight.
I hear you.
A lot of things going on. James. Go to strikeforceenergy.com. Kick the can. Buy these boxes. 10-pack, 40-pack, 750 milliliter bottle. Rest on your bar top or countertop. This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Oh, my God.
Revolution. Get you 20% off. That's good every time. And they ship everywhere in the entire world at strikeforceenergy.com. Next up, we got straightrazors.com.
Ooh, that's a clean cut. Smooth. Oh, you like it?
Oh, there it is, James. Man, you had it tonight. She dressed up as a geisha tonight.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, you like it?
Every house you go to.
Oh, you like it, boy?
Yeah.
Oh, what can I do for you? Oh, you like it?
Yeah.
I see.
Just go door to door with your kids tonight. You know?
Sure. Sure. Will do.
Straightrazors.com. I believe they bought a new facility.
Ooh, nice.
Up in Idaho. I think Sandpoint is where they're located at. I've got to go up there. I'm dying to go to I'm dying to go to Idaho. Everybody has the best shit to say about Idaho. I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to go see Luke Webster and the boys. I use their products every day. Their Smolder aftershave is my favorite in this lifetime. If I don't have it, I kill people. Their straight razors are second to none. They even have safety razors in case you're not a man yet. Trying to figure out how to shave your face and or your scrot. Or if you've read When Darkness Falls, He Doesn't Catch It, you can give yourself a nice Sunday brooch with it. Go to straightrazors.com and they'll give you everything you need to be a real man in this life. And it's a nice stocking stuffer for the upcoming Christmas season. Because after Halloween, Christmas comes up quick, doesn't it?
Oh, they skip right over Thanksgiving.
Boy,
we're done
fast.
with Thanksgiving already.
It's fast. Last but not least, check out my books. Go to Audible, man. Everybody's buying these books on Audible. When Darkness Falls is the new one. It is currently the highest rated book on all of Audible. 5 million books were number one. Fuck off, everyone. 4.99 on this one. 4.67 on the big guy. I try to figure out how this got a 4.6 on the other one. It was under the romance category. There was a bunch of women who were like,
whoopsie.
Yep, you're disgusting. Fuck you. I thought I was coming here to get a good thing or whatever. Which makes me want to say to them, like, because these are billed as the first romance novels for dudes, which makes me want to say to these women, hey, I'm sorry, it wasn't dudes fucking housewives in these books this time, and it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
How do you just, like, try it out, though?
I don't know.
Without knowing.
Apparently, it's linked by categories, so, like, you know.
Okay.
You can go under and be like, ooh.
Let me check this one out.
That seems like a nice
The ratings novel. Are so high.
That's exactly what it is, yeah. And then you get women who are just, I am disgusted. Yeah. It is vulgar. It is foul. And it was just like, you ever read a romance novel for chicks? God damn it.
Yeah.
He took me into his arms, his veins bulging in his biceps, and then threw me down on the bed.
Right.
And you're like, oh, God, fuck off, old lady. Jesus.
And then he asked me if it was okay.
Yeah.
No. No, they never do.
They never do. They're all getting Me Too'd in there, and it's just like,
yeah, it's basically rape.
Yeah,
but they're into it.
Yeah, read your little rape novels, ladies, and stay off my fucking.
Okay, whoopsie daisy.
Stay off my fucking Audible.
Okay.
Scores.
Okay, whoopsie daisy.
But no, these books are available. Jesus Christ, they're really fucking selling. I'm super stoked about it. It's one of those things where it feels like what Tucker Max went through. I get a chance to sit down with his writing partner, and he was just like, man, these are the funniest books ever written. He's like, I haven't read shit like this since Tucker Max put out books. And he goes, you watch over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, like they will be like massive bestsellers just because the world's got to catch up to that shit.
Yeah.
So there's something to it, I think, because that happens when you write something so far in advance. I read an article about last night. Remember Lil Peep, who just died?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember him. But
strange, because I after he died, like, I knew one of his songs, and then I went through his catalog, and I was like, man, there was something there. There was something really fucking different in there. And the New York Times did an article last night about him that just said he's got an album coming out November 9th. Obviously, he's dead. Mm-hmm. But they took his laptop. There was some people helping him over in London. Went into the Apple store and said, transfer all of this from the laptop over onto a brand new computer, and then ship the other laptop off. And they've been mastering this album for a while now, since his death. And all of them said the same thing in this article, that they were just like, this guy, this sound that he created was so far ahead of its time that they're curious to see how this album will do, if it will either explode or be used later on for kind of like a guide to what the new sound is. And apparently he had recorded all of his music on his laptop and all of this stuff, but he had very specific settings and shit in GarageBand. You know more about GarageBand than I do.
Yeah.
It's possible, right? To mix like probably 180 million different settings or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I use Logic, but it's kind of the same, where you can literally put like a million different effects or things on the voice,
scratching and distortions and all that other shit, right? Yeah. So that's what he was doing, and his settings were very specific to the style that he was using. And it was interesting to read this article, because I don't know much about him other than one or two songs.
How did he die?
Overdose.
Okay.
Pills. So it's one of those things where I know you edit all the shows for us across the board. You do video and audio, but you throw in a lot of mixes and remixes and cool shit all the time. I just wondered how many different combinations were possible in that world. But
over 180, like
180 million, or
no, on one track.
Well, here's the thing.
Over 180, you could do like 180, I guess, different.
But if you but different combinations. That combinations it's got to be crazy. So I'm kind of stoked to hear about that album.
Yeah, me too. Now,
just to hear it. Yeah. We'll play some tracks after this. Fuck, maybe we'll stick one at the end of the show.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want.
We put Falco on at the end of the show the other day. So who gives a fuck? We're living in our own world, Jables. You know who isn't living in this world anymore is Whitey Bulger.
Oh my God.
R.I.P.
That
man.
Fucking guy. He made it a long time.
Long time.
A long time with his bullshit.
89 years old, and he killed hundreds of people. And he got transported to a new jail and then got beat to death with a lock and a sock. That is old school shit. And then got his eyes gouged out with shivs. And he didn't even make it inside the prison.
Right.
He just made it to, he was greeted, I guess it was in a wheelchair, which at 89, it makes sense.
For sure.
And they wheeled him over to a special place where there was no security cameras that only they knew, beat that motherfucker to death with a lock and tried to gouge out his eyes.
And that's some mobster type shit, right? But as you were saying, like, still...
I didn't, before we got on air, when I was reading about it, I was like, man, still the mafia these days. Like today, when I think of gangsters, if you will, it's not Whitey Bulger and those guys anymore. It's like fucking M13 or, Crips,
that or
Bloods.
Like the organized crime. I don't know. Are they just like sneakier now? Is it less killing and more just money laundering? Like, I don't know.
I don't know how you can get away with it in today's society.
You can't.
Because I was thinking about this, like if you were to have a mafia today, in particular, like the old school, like in the Sinatra days and shit like that. Like today, everything's digital.
Bulger. Yeah.
So money wise, it's digital unless you're going to hide it in a fucking hole inside your house.
I mean, people are definitely still laundering money. Like
they are, but to what extent is it, and how are you doing it? It's not the old school Whitey Bulger way where you're showing up at somebody's door and then capping people,
right?
Or breaking legs at their house anymore. I don't think that exists because I don't think you can get away with it with camera phones and security and cameras and all that shit. Like I don't. I don't know how you can get away with it these days. Because, I mean, even his death last night, obviously this was planned, and obviously somebody was tipped off. The jail made a statement saying we were grossly understaffed, correctional officers wise. Oh, you are? You couldn't even get a guy into the prison because you're so understaffed. And then 3 guys were able to drag him to where there was no cameras. To go to that extent takes a level of planning where, I mean,
maybe, listen, here's the other thing. Maybe we're really naive in that there still is like a huge mob presence. Possibly. I'm here for it, but.
Look, I can date back to this. I can at least date it back to 2000 where there was a mob tie-in with a friend of mine, a few friends of mine. And it was in Youngstown, Ohio. I can say where it's at. It was in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, that's
And Youngstown was still known for shit like that. But like, to me, it felt like on a very small scale. Not like, oh, it was some huge organized crime outfit where it was just like, all right, cool. Again, in today's, that was 2000. This is 18 years with technology, camera phone, like fucking cell phones. Nobody had a cell phone, barely had a cell phone then.
Right.
You didn't have all this shit that you do now. If you were going to beat somebody to death over, an unpaid sports bet or whatever it was, like somebody would hold a phone up and, oh, fuck, I'll turn this over or whatever.
Yeah.
I just find it it's harder to do now, I think, and harder to get away with it. And, you used to read stories about, oh, so-and-so got caught or popped or whatever. But when was the last time? Like what, early 90s with maybe Gotti?
Yeah.
Was that about it?
Yeah. That was like the last thing because the FBI is like all over it.
All over it. And look, their kids are doing reality shows.
But, people that Whitey Bulger killed, their families are still alive.
They are.
So it's possible. And they did an interview with one of the ladies and she was drinking champagne.
Yep.
And was like, the first thing I thought was, I'll pop a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like hardcore.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Maybe it's still like a thing.
Maybe.
Because she was like the real deal.
But here's what I will say to that. If it is, then they have to be fucking old.
Totally.
So, and if it was, because we don't know who did this.
Right.
If it was older men who were the old white mobster guys who were around in the Whitey Bulger
sure, like,
era.
I'm going to get you.
And they waited this fucking long.
Someday.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Exactly.
Congratulations.
It's the long game.
Yeah,
I'm liking the long game, dude. And that's the way to play it.
Yeah.
All of the shit. Because then how do you really trace it back? It's a long time.
Long time.
The hit's been out for a long time or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing about Whitey Bulger? So you know how he was, hiding in plain sight in Santa Monica with his girlfriend for like 10 years.
In an apartment complex.
In an apartment, like, I think we lived close to this place.
Yes.
And they like visited Alcatraz and have a picture where he was incarcerated before. They have a picture of him with the like black and white stripes at like an Alcatraz when he was not on the run.
When he was,
I mean, that's how good he was when he was on the run.
Great.
He just looked like a normal
dude.
Old
Yeah.
dude, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good job, Whitey.
Man.
But finally at 89,
he got fucking nuked.
Yeah.
Lock in a sock.
Again, he had a good run for all the shit that he did, which makes you believe mob isn't really alive and well. Otherwise, that motherfucker would have gotten it in the last jail as he was getting admitted then.
Yes.
It wouldn't have taken this long.
Because he's been away for a few years now. So let's 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
It's that if the mob was that strong, it would have been like first week shit like
totally.
Back then. So
you'd have many people on the inside that would have gotten him.
Whoever did it though, for real. Congratulations. Because I'm not going to pretend that he was a fucking awesome guy or he was some hero. He wasn't. He was a piece of shit. So the fact that went down and somebody did that is great. Like, totally. And it's great theater.
It was like on the Today Show, the son of one of the guys that he killed was just like, they had to beep him out. Like a bunch. He was just like, I'm happy to know that he'll be in hell being poked in the ass with a poker, like just going off, and they like cut it really quickly. But that's the kind of people that have, that are celebrating tonight.
Yeah.
With a bottle of champagne they popped.
Yeah.
so good.
So good.
And nobody's sad about it.
No.
Even the gruesome way, no one's sad.
No, nobody's sad.
My grandpa was called to testify against Joey Bonanno. You know who that is?
Joey Bananas or Bonanno?
It is It's Bonanno is his real name, but they called him Joey Bananas.
All right. What did he do?
What did who do? My grandpa?
Yeah.
He pled the fifth.
Really?
And so he was like on their good list.
What did Joey Bananas do?
Oh, he was just part of the whole. Whenever
that
you watch
whole operation.
Yeah, anytime you watch any of those, gangsters shows from back in the day, there's always a little mention of Joey Bananas. He's like a lower level dude, but yeah, I'm like basically in the mob. So
yeah, you're twinsies. Not your samesies, twinsies.
My grandpa's.
Yeah, the only encounter I've remotely had with it was those kids. Because I was in NYU, and I used to go out to all the sweet clubs during the time, and like the biggest like private shit, and like you would see their kids out, and somebody would say,
"Oh yeah,"
it was always the same thing. Someone would tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, don't fuck with those kids. Why? Those are the fucking Gotti or the Kumalati or whatever kids.
Bananos."
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh,
it's never the bananas."
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And and they all look like Pauly D from.
Totally.
Jersey Shore.
They're Guidos.
Yeah. It's a very specific look, and you were like, all right, cool. You just knew when you were like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you didn't, what I didn't know at the time was like, and this was always the topic of discussion is like, hey man, you're their kids. Like, are we really doing that now? Or can you do anything? Or is that,
No, you grew up rich as fuck and they didn't tell you shit. Like,
I wanna read something that got me last night. You ever read things that get you and you're just like, man, that's an awesome story, and then someone ruins it for you.
Okay.
Just pulls down their pants and shits all over it, and you're like, God damn it, humanity is terrible.
What?
Humanity is just fucking terrible. I'm gonna read this. I actually screenshotted it last night.
Okay.
Because Sandra Day O'Connor is, right? The Supreme Court Justice.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up. God damn it, Ross. I've got so many fucking photos on this thing.
Sure.
So Sandra Day O'Connor went to high school with Judge Rehnquist, who was also a Supreme Court Justice as well. And in the early 50s, he asked her to marry him.
Okay.
And then, she said no. She was in love with another man, and they never got married. But, all the way back from then, they both end up becoming two totally different paths. Both end up becoming Supreme Court justices serving on the Supreme Court. Pretty amazing story.
Totally.
Where you're like, holy shit. There's a guy, I'm just going to say this guy's name because I don't really give a fuck. There's a guy, he goes by Saron Witt. He is at Vaughn Darritt, VAUGHNDARRITT. So this story was trending late last night. And it was just like, oh man, that's a nice story. And it was on it. NPR had posted this story and they did a nice thing about it, And it was just like, man, can you believe that? Two people, just kids in love, both of them end up becoming Supreme Court justices. It's a 1 in a gajillion chance that two people did that.
Sure.
This guy at Vaughn Darritt on Twitter just said, right underneath his NPR article, anyone else not give a fuck about the love story between William Rehnquist and Sandra Day O'Connor?
Yeah, me. As you were saying it, I was like, okay. Cool.
Just to be a fucking asshole. An asshole. Like,
I love it.
Because me, like when I was reading this last night, I got caught up in it, and I was like, man, that's weird.
That is so weird.
That's crazy. Like, what are the chances of that? That would,
right.
Be like if, like it's like the Mickey Mouse Club, for Christ's sakes, with like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and Justin Timberlake and all of them. Like, oh, they all made it. And Ryan Gosling. Like, what are the fucking chances when you look back at that now?
Yeah.
And then this, you haven't even further chance of being Supreme Court justice. That's a job that's once every fucking 50 years, for Christ's sakes.
But also imagine like having to go to work with your ex like till the end of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently everything was fine, but
I'm sure.
I just love. Anyone else not give a fuck about this love story between these two guys? That's Twitter for you.
I love that.
There it is.
I love it.
There's the Twitter I know and love. God damn it, I hate it so much. I hate Twitter so much. And some people at home, like I've said this a billion times, but a lot of people at home will be like, "Well, why don't you just get off Twitter?" And I was like, I am eventually, but the news. It is up to the second news. Even doing yesterday's sports show with Clayton Crawford for Drinking Bros, there was 2 trades that happened during the show that affected the spreads and the things. And I was like, oh, fuck, Twitter's awesome.
Yeah.
ESPN didn't report it for like 20 minutes later. And you were just like, oh, man, Twitter's awesome. And then this. No one else not give a fuck about these two people. Just...
But like, why even write that? Oof. You know what I mean? Like, just if you don't give a fuck, it's just like scroll up.
That's what I don't know. I don't get.
That's the thing is you have to just say, you have to shit on everything.
That's crazy.
But under the guise of like not giving a fuck, right?
Yeah.
I give so little that I'm gonna have to write something on it.
It was something positive though I found on Twitter the last night.
Well.
I am amped about this. I mean, I could start off just by saying, hey.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hey.
Stallone?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were coming on the show.
He's back for Rambo 5.
He's back.
He's doing Rambo 5. They just released a still, too. He's in a cowboy hat. Looks like he's been living in the mountains, just trying to mind his own business. I'm sure somebody pissed him off. He's got to go out and kill someone, Jables.
He's not going to be the dad of someone?
Fuck no, he's not. He's Rambo, motherfucker.
Holy jeez.
The kid is resilient, is what the producer said. Yeah.
The kid?
Hey. I follow Stallone on Instagram. Mm-hmm. He's been working out like a beast. I don't know how this guy does it. I mean, steroids, obviously, but
obviously,
but the best. Like he's on the cleanest, purest shit.
Must be.
Oh, I love it. He's back. Rambo's back. I'm gonna be realsies. As soon as I read this, not only am I amped about it, but it reminded me of the last time it came out, and I didn't know what was going to happen or if it was going to be shitty or bad or whatever. And I bought tickets opening night as a joke, like me and my friends. Mm-hmm. And everybody went dressed up as Rambo to the theater, like my friends and shit. God. We got there. It was fucking sold out. It crushed opening weekend. And people were cheering every time Rambo came on screen. It was just like all the murders, all the kills. I love it. I'm super amped about this.
Okay.
I love Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. Ooh.
We know.
Hey. Some people might not follow my awesome Instagram and don't see my Stallone thoughts on there. It's at ST James if you want to pop on for the little magic. I also want to thank you for the magic yesterday of taking that gourd shot with me.
Oh, yeah.
And that gourd dick shot.
I think I might have suggested it.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to put our normal like happy pose that we went to the pumpkin patch with our kids on Ross Patterson Revolution. But then the gourd pic is on my Instagram.
Sure.
Just a giant dick and balls looking off into the ocean.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm like, turn it around so it's pointing down.
Turn the beat around. Let me feel that action.
Yep.
Let me feel that I want to talk about Mr. Mueller. Robert Mueller.
Okay.
That fuck who's doing the Trump investigation for Russia.
That fuck.
You know what he got hit with today?
Sexual.
Yeah. Rape claim. Yeah. Good old fashioned rape claim. A good old fashioned Me Too. He's now turning it over to the FBI, saying that there was a sex scheme against him. Man, as I was reading this, I was trying to think if that has ever happened to somebody. Kavanaugh. There it is. Boy, man, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy when it happens to you and you're like,
Hang on.
When that shoe is on the other
someone to help me.
Oh, boy. So you mean that women have made fake claims against you in public? Man, I hope that doesn't tarnish your reputation.
I know, and make your whole career from now on.
Because it looked like Kavanaugh had a fun time with that. Him and his whole family during that whole sitch. So, congratulations, Mo. And look, Lindsey Graham said it himself. He goes, look, if this is the precedent you're setting going forward with this shit in politics, like, good fucking luck when it happens to you. Now it happened to him.
Right.
And immediately, I guess a guy who wrote Mueller's book came out and was just like, I've known him forever, and I've talked to everyone, and this man would never do that. You know who else had the same exact statement? Everybody who testified for Kavanaugh about their experience growing up with him. So you want to be believed, but then you don't want others to be believed.
Right.
So this whole shit was, again, you can go fuck yourself with all of it. Like, this is exactly what happens. And now the people I feel the worst about are the actual victims. How do you believe anybody after this shit now? You're not going to.
No.
Because now it's just going to be for politics against both sides, and it doesn't really fucking matter now.
But this message, like I said, had been diluted from the beginning.
Yeah.
And people that, and women now are even speaking out. And it's like, this whole thing has been ruined.
Yeah.
By you fucking idiots.
Oh, man.
So now it means nothing. Whereas it started out with people that have been, victims of actual sexual violence.
Yeah.
Now it's diluted, and now it's gone even full circle to where anytime you say anything, if you don't have, corroborating evidence to the T, might as well just don't come out, which is how it was before. So we've now come full circle.
We have.
Now you can't come out.
Yeah.
You guys have all ruined it from top to bottom. We have completely ruined that. Me too.
Yeah.
It's done now.
Yeah. I
so
don't know.
Good job, ladies.
I don't know how you recover from it at this point, or who you're going to believe or why. Yeah.
And this is the way it used to be back in the day. So you can't come out because no one will believe you.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason that this started. We're all going to not be able to work in the workplace.
No.
We're not going to be hired because we're too much of a fucking problem. So we might as well just go back to being fucking housewives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And getting daddies.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And getting daddies.
So good fucking job, Judd. Ashley Judd.
Yeah.
You fuck.
We're nasty little pussies.
I was going to. Yeah.
We're nasty little women.
We're nasty women.
And these are pussies.
He looked at my butt. Me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You should be so lucky, you old fuck.
I want to have Jon Stewart on the show, by the way.
You want to what?
I would love to have Jon Stewart on the show.
Oh, my God.
I think he's a smart guy, and there's a lot of people ask me, like, if I hate him. I don't. I think he's a really smart guy, and I think he'd be a extremely fascinating conversation. Even though we share different politics, we always invite anybody on the show.
A conversation, though.
I do too, and I listened to a conversation this morning of his that I thought was really interesting. He sat down, he did this interview. It was him and Chappelle for some CNN thing.
Okay,
and CNN is obviously that Christine Amanpour.
Mm-hmm.
Amanpour. Mm-hmm. I can never pronounce her name whenever it comes on screen.
I know.
Amanpour or whatever the fuck it is. But they had Jon Stewart had an extremely interesting take on it, and I actually agree with it.
Right.
We've kind of touched on it here and there, but I want to read what he said last night because it came out in print today. I saw the interview last night. But he said that the beauty of Trump and what he's done and his anti-media rhetoric is that he's exploited the media's own narcissism, forcing them to change the conversation, which then in turn focuses on what he wants to talk about.
Right.
And I think that's true as well.
Yeah.
Because look, the media, whether or not they want to believe it, loves themselves more than they
sure,
than Trump.
Sure.
The other thing is, and this is another thing that I 100% agree with, that I don't think if you sat down with Stephen Colbert, which is why I separated Jon Stewart from Stephen Colbert in this regard, is Now, because he says, talking about everybody, the media is so focused on the Trump phenomenon because you got to make money. You got bills to pay. You got electric bills, man. You got food to pay for. The only reason these outlets are still going is because they talk about Trump all day long.
Yeah.
He is literally feeding them, putting a house over their head, all of that shit. And by feeding into that, all you're doing is talking about him every second of the day, all day long, keeping the focus on him, which is what these candidates who are up for the midterms, everybody's praying for that right now. Yeah. Just give me some media, some attention. Oprah is going down to campaign for the woman in Georgia who's running. Yeah, Oprah's showing up to try to get I think it's the first black female governor of the state of Georgia, I believe, or senator. I obviously haven't lived in Georgia in a while, but when Oprah shows up, holy shit! I'll be curious if she's powerful enough to swing an election because she wasn't. So. Well, she wasn't the last one. She went out and stumped for Hillary, and that didn't go so well.
I think it was too late.
Yeah,
I think it was too little, too late.
But is it too late now? You're looking at 4 days out.
True.
So we'll see. But I think if more people did this, like let's say you wanted Trump and this whole shit to go away with the media, right?
Sure.
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Obviously.
If you just don't say one word about it, then what like if you're the left, this would be my strategy if I was on the left. Don't talk about him. Don't report on him. If it's a major story,
yes,
like the synagogue,
make the major
shooting,
things major,
yes,
and leave the little things
off. Don't even talk about it. Don't talk about his Twitter,
and it'll give those.
Don't talk about anything.
A bigger
yes. Then when other issues and all this other shit, but the problem is they've gone all in. This is what their ratings are, so and they're fucked.
Every little thing.
And after I saw this interview, I went and just kind of researched the ratings for cable and what they are. And this is the last week. Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon's the lowest. He pulls just over 1 million.
Right.
1 million. That's nothing. To like our show is 1.4 million.
Yeah.
We're almost doubling Don Lemon. Anderson Cooper was at 1.1, 1.15. We're bigger than Anderson Cooper. Like, if they don't talk about, imagine if they didn't talk about Trump.
Forget it.
Would those shows be on the air at all? I don't like, you can't justify that to advertisers.
Yeah.
If you start getting under a 1, that's it.
Jimmy Fallon, one of the best like late night talk shows, in my opinion.
Same.
Ratings are what? Shit, because...
Well, he's in second behind Colbert.
Because he doesn't
talk about politics.
No.
Very rare. I mean...
He literally just has
He'll
fun.
Sprinkle in a couple Trump jokes here and there, but like an old, like a Jay Leno type of vibe. Like
here and there.
Nothing mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Whereas Colbert and Kimmel go all in every single night.
Every single time.
But that's how their ratings went up.
Yep.
So... hearing Jon Stewart, just a voice of reasoning behind it, like he's correct in that, man.
Yeah.
So I think these people don't have a choice at this point, and you're stuck with it now. Like, congratulations, you're going to be talking about this motherfucker forever, and God forbid he doesn't get reelected in 2020. You'll all be out of jobs. They're headline news. I don't know if you saw this. They just eliminated all their live shows. So they're going with like pre-recorded stuff. They're barely a network at this point.
Yeah.
That will happen to CNN as well. What if like I was thinking about this. What if a Biden gets in there? Somebody normal, boring, that is nothing for the media whatsoever. They're axed across the board.
Yeah.
Because I think the only thing holding up, like, I read that last story in the New York Times. The only thing that's holding up the New York Times, I mean, and again, we go to New York a lot. I drive by that building. They're down to, they have a massive building in New York. They're down to like 3 floors of that building. All of the rest of it's rented out to other companies. And it's like, are you hanging on by a Trump and a thread here? Because that's it. That's what you're down to. But I again, man, with the midterms on the next go round here, that'll be our next show.
Oh yeah,
the prediction show. Predicts across the board. It's all over the map, man. And people are trying to make these last ditch efforts at things. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The other thing I want to talk about is Facebook last night reported their earnings, and they're losing users and followers. and it's starting to drop. I was with, and I'm curious because I wanted to ask you about this, because a lot of moms and housewives are on Facebook a lot. No, I use it for work, so I'll fully admit how much I'm on it. I don't give a shit about that. But I was talking to Matt and Jared and my best friends who, use social media for a living, and all of them were saying the same thing, where it's just like, man, I haven't been on Facebook in a while. I haven't posted on Facebook in a while. Like the business does. Yeah. It's more great for businesses to try to get products out there. But they're like, me personally, I haven't done it in a while. No. I don't think, and I was trying to think about it. My go-to is Instagram first.
Yeah. And that's everybody's right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is. Yes. So even in like the mom world and shit, like that's it, huh?
Yes.
Huh.
The mom world.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. But like, look, you guys all know,
Yeah, so Facebook is just too many weird ads, too many things that you're like not seeing or that you are seeing. So I'm just over it. It's not really a connect, like it's more to like see weird videos. It's almost like Twitter in a way. So
is it like because my question is this, like
Instagram is just straight up pictures and a comment from people that and that's it.
Will this become the way of MySpace? Because looking at this user drop,
I told you that.
Man,
I said it's a dumpster fire. It's all cyclical. This will go and something else. The only difference is Facebook owns Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. So I think too is that you're going to start to see
the merge, maybe
merge. But I think Instagram, unfortunately, is going to turn into like way, way, way more ads. And then, sponsored people that you're going to see, and then like commercial Instagram thing. I don't know. It's just going to be weird.
Yeah.
It's going to turn into what Facebook is. And so that will go down to, and it's all going to, recycle. Something else will come up.
Yeah. I think it's just so hard for me to picture it because they've been so dominant for so long, where you're just like, oh man. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Did you hear that train?
What?
There hasn't been a train through here. Should we do a couple creepy sentences?
Go ahead.
That'll like creep you out a little bit. So me and my friend Isabel, you guys, I have a friend.
Hey.
I know.
Good for you.
Besides all you guys, the girls that message me, but you don't live here. So it's like, sorry, what am I going to do? Right. So I have a friend.
Okay.
And we were just like creeping each other out with these sentences. Okay. So some of them are stupid.
Sure.
Obviously.
Well, it goes without saying, doesn't it?
But some of them are a little creepy.
Yeah.
We're going to go third creepiest first.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
You hear your mom calling you in the kitchen. And as you're heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too."
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, that is scary.
Creepy?
I like it.
No?
I like it.
Okay, here's another one. Since that one really got you.
Scared?
Okay.
The Dickens out of me.
Do you need a minute?
Yeah, scared the Dickens out of me.
Okay, do you need a minute? All right.
I don't.
The doctors told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time, right? You might feel your arm there, even though it's not there when they cut it off.
Yeah.
But nobody prepared him for the moments, though, when he felt cold fingers brush across the phantom hand.
Oh.
You're so scared. You are so scared right now.
James.
Can you go on? Do you need me to stop?
Yeah. Do I need a moment to gather myself?
Well, are you getting a little bit too scared? Do you need me to keep going?
No, you can keep going.
Okay, there's one more that actually this one really did creep me out. Okay. So you begin tucking in your son in bed. Uh-huh. And he says, "Daddy, can you check under the bed for monsters?" And so you go, "Okay, fine." And you like look under the bed, and it's your son under there saying, "Daddy, there's someone on my bed."
Ooh.
What? That one really is creepy. Which one is the real son?
I don't know.
Ross, which one is the real sun?
I don't know.
There hasn't been a train through here in 80 years. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm frightened, obviously.
You're obviously not going to sleep tonight. So I'm sorry. And everyone at home, too.
Is not going to sleep tonight because of this.
Because of how creepy.
Yeah.
Old Man Johnson lives down there.
Yeah.
Don't go down there. Old Man Johnson lives down there.
Ooh.
I think the first thing that like ever scared me that I read, as a child or whatever, or the first thing I saw that scared me that made me like, ooh, was probably Thriller, the Michael Jackson video.
Okay.
That I was just like, holy shit.
Right.
When he turned into the full thing and they got the close-ups of his mouth and all that other shit changing into the werewolf, I was like, holy fuck.
Right.
And then I would have to say the first thing I read was in To Kill a Mockingbird when they were discussing like Boo Radley, going down to Boo Radley's house. I was like, what is this going to be? What is, ooh. Like,
right.
That's it. And then those are my two biggest, scariest memories as a kid. What about you?
For me, do you remember Scary Stories, those books? Or is that like a little bit after you?
I don't know.
They're like black and white, scary stories.
No, but black and white was definitely not after me.
No, they're like, it's a very specific, whoever knows. It's a scarier version of like Goosebumps, where they're like a book series. Mm-hmm. But the thing of like, there's a story of someone in the back of a lady's car, and every time he would like come up to stab her,
right?
A car behind her would like flash the headlights,
right?
And she's like, what the fuck? She thinks that this car behind her is like trying to like stop her to kill her. So that's like the scariest part.
Yeah.
But he was flashing the lights so that every time the guy would come up behind her in her car, which is one of my biggest fears, right? Every time I get in, I have to look to the back.
Right.
Because obviously somebody has climbed in.
Yeah.
And they're waiting back there with a knife to kill me. I don't know what they would gain from that, if you really think about it. But of course they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
I understand all that. I understand that. I remember the not turning the flashlights on Halloween too. And if you brighted them, the people would kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Flick the brights. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that'll lead us to our revolutionary figure of the day, Jables.
Ooh.
The weird thing is this airs the day after Halloween too. So
I know, but
it's a nice November 1st reminder.
Listen,
that Halloween was yesterday, and a lot of you out there probably made some horrible decisions.
We just have to be true to ourselves and whatever's going on in our lives at the time. We have to live our truth. We're not going to pretend that it's not Halloween. Yeah. Because it is. Because it is Halloween. You're right. So. You're right. And some people might, celebrate next weekend. Is that a thing? Because it's bookended by a weekend?
Definitely not. Yep. Too far in November at that point, Jabe.
Sure. Because
Halloween's on a Wednesday.
Right. But when the weekends are bookending, okay.
No. Not this time. You can't do anything about it. Because, I guarantee you, by the weekend, there will be Thanksgiving decorations up and, gourds and pumpkins and all that shit. Sure. Like, guarantee it. Guarantee that'll be up. Okay. I'm going to give this one out to Vincent Price. Okay. Love Vincent Price. I actually do. I love Vincent Price. Yeah. SNL used to do a great, I think was it Bill Hader who used to play Vincent Price in SNL? I think so. Yeah. His voice, his just overall look in all of these horror films and shit growing up, because it was perfect. He was the dude. And they talking about the Thriller, that they even used his laugh in Thriller at the end. Vincent Price laugh, like that was classic. That was him. And he was in more than 100 films. He has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's rare, man. That is rare. Yeah, 1 for motion pictures, and 1 for television. And this was the Halloween dude. Like, this was still the scary dude. And happy Halloween, Jobs. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. When are you recording that, by the way? People want it. When is it dropping? Yeah. I'm gonna do a secret midnight drop tonight. Any features on it? What? Any features? You got anybody featured on it? No. All right. Just you and your cultural appropriation headband you're wearing right now.
Just me.
Yeah. Just Jables. It's just Jables, you know? You should have your own show called Just Jables.
Just Jables. I should have my own show. You can't throw me any curveballs. You can't ask me anything.
Nothing.
It's just me.
You don't know how to use a computer. So
No.
what would you talk about?
Oh my gosh. What wouldn't I talk about when it comes to murder and food? What wouldn't I talk about? Anything else?
You're such a foodie.
I'm such a foodie for butter and noodles. I try all kinds.
Oh, yeah.
I just travel the world trying all different kinds of pastas and butter.
Speaking of which, I caught Parts Unknown under the tarp.
Okay. The behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah, the behind the scenes of the thing. They asked everybody on the show, all of the crew members, what it was like working on it. And they were like, did you have fun? Not one of them said they had fun.
No. And they were like, was he nice? They're like, no, but that's okay. He reminded
Why?
me. He reminded me of you.
Dick.
He reminded me of you.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. On set, the way that he was talking to people, the way that he was trying to get the shot.
Oh, yeah.
The way that he
where it's just about the job.
He wouldn't tolerate any...
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Any shittiness or any weirdness.
Correct.
He would literally just be like, this light, really? We're fucking...
Yeah, we're doing this?
So
100%.
I think people would probably say the same about you on set.
Probably.
Where they're like, was he nice? Was it fun? No, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You got the shot and you were in the movie and you maybe had fun with other actors, but as far as like producer or running of, in charge of the show, no.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Yeah.
And that was the first thing I thought, because I obviously saw the same thing. And I was like, that's Ross.
Yeah. But when I saw it, I was like, I don't know. I guess the romanticism of it, of traveling around the world, eating at the nicest places and doing all that shit, when truthfully, it reminded me of the same thing of you're just trying to get the shot and then get out of there. So,
and he hated the whole, same with you. So he was like, this show is getting in the way of my experience, Yeah. Because you have to set up, you have to light, whatever. It's too much for him. So they had to literally set up, break down in a speed that's not realistic.
Sure.
To where you're just like, if you're a normal person, you're not an actor, you're not in the industry, you're like, this is taking so fucking long, even if it takes like a half an hour to light and stuff, right? So he's like, no, I just need to get to it now. So they had to they made these like weird cameras that were like super small that could go anywhere, because he literally would not let you light. It's amazing that show looks as nice as it does.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were surprising about it when I watched that thing, because it was me hearing all the crew members. It wasn't surprising to say they didn't have fun. I'm surprised they didn't say, well, behind the scenes, once we shot it, we went out and got drunk or did things in those other cities.
But they did. They did.
Kind of.
So when they're at dinner, he's like, some of them were just like, we're a big family as well, where he would talk to you about movies and music, and you'd have dinners and eat food, but like, really, when it was time to shoot, he called all the shots all business, but also didn't really know that part of the industry. All he knew is how he wanted it to be,
right?
How he wanted to act,
right? And
so there was a thing of like, when he says let's go wide, that means it's over. So even if you're like in the middle of a conversation, if he doesn't like it, if it's just not going well, whatever, he's just like, let's go wide. And then like they would all turn and be like, he just said let's go wide. Go wide. Okay. And it's done.
It's done. He gets up and leaves.
Yep. You're done. You go wide for a second and he's out of there. Like, cool. Even in him being an asshole, he's so fucking cool.
It almost made me change my mind of why he killed himself.
What was your first?
My real thing is, I think the homegirl called him and said some shit, and then he fucking iced himself.
No, he's not a fucking child.
He might have just gotten sick of doing that shit every single day, 400 days out of the year, And
even you see behind the scenes, he's not like happy, laughing.
Well, I told you this before, that having your own food show, I don't know how you do it in the way of this. You eat that much food for the shot and all of that stuff. And because we just shot a music video that'll air in a couple weeks about Red Lobster. And it's coming out, a rap song. I had to eat so much of that shit that I was full. I was bloated. I felt like shit the rest of the day. All of that stuff. Like I didn't physically want to shoot anymore. Right. I was just like, man, I've had enough today of all of this shit. But so you get it. Yeah. So maybe I have a different opinion of him after watching that.
All right.
Tony. They only called him Tony though.
Well, I keep hearing that train, so we got to go.
The train's coming. Why don't you lead us out of there with that line, James?
The train's here. What? There hasn't been a train through here in 80 years.
For Jessie Wiseman, a.k.a. the Jables, I am Ross Patterson. Happy Halloween, everyone.
This is Halloween.